Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 3, Episode 28, where we watch Take Me Out, Season 1, Episode 3. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Hey, this is James.
Robert Kitts.
I'm Harrison Hoffman.
It's Annabeth.
George Maxpez.
Welcome back, Annabeth. And
Returning.
you were
So glad to
on
be back.
a very good episode before, Bromans.
Incredible show.
Incredible. I don't know if
But
I go with that
Could
one,
this be
but
better?
Here's the question. Have you watched more Bromans?
Definitely not.
We got to go
Did
back to these
anyone,
ratings.
though?
I feel like these ratings are in question now.
the
I don't
ratings, just because you think the ratings top third means you're going to keep watching it,
That's
Top-
the implication.
you're not watching a third of these shows afterwards.
What do you mean?
It's a stack
My
ranking,
week
dude.
is filled with like 8 hours of MTV a week now.
Yeah, well,
It's
there's
out of
all-
control. This show has ruined so many nights. Like doing this podcast, it's whew.
All right, who's got the show description for this?
Multi-talented entertainer George Lopez will host Take Me Out, the provocative and unpredictable new dating series on Fox. Based on the hugely successful international format, is a fast-paced, dynamic new series featuring 30 single women searching for a match and several brave bachelors who must make the ultimate first impression.
AKA a show we've done before called If You Are the One, but this is the American version, hosted by the Mr. Matchmaker, George Lopez.
The master matchmaker himself.
That's true.
Rob, would it be possible that you could pull up or have access to our stats for the show, the Japanese one we did?
The Chinese one.
Chinese
one.
I can make that happen.
To
if you
be-
give me-
Okay. I just
All
want
right.
to
Not
lead
ASAP,
it.
but yes.
While
To
he's
be
doing that.
fair, it's an Australian show.
Oh, it's Australian.
It is.
It's an Australian dub,
Ma-
a
Max,
sub of
explain this.
There is a Chinese show that is this, but with 24 women and slightly different rules. It's a
Different
set.
rules?
There's slightly different
Okay,
things in
different
play,
mechanic.
but it's generally the same thing where there's 24 people judging the fuck out of somebody.
Right.
I
And
will
it's
get
great.
into it.
I discovered it while I was on vacation in Australia because they had it on their version of Adult Swim, all subtitled, and it was very funny because there's very different cultural expectations there. And yeah, this is that show.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for that discovery.
yeah,
It's great.
Sure
You got to
thing.
go to Australia more often. That's all we need.
I'm killing it today. Not gonna lie,
All
this
right.
show is so good.
He's killing it, guys. I don't know.
All right, do you have the rating?
I
ratings?
have the ratings from If You Are the One, Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 8.
We'll
Hit
give
me.
it to us.
So we got one bottom third from the Chris Lorenz.
Not surprised.
The host laying it down.
We got two middle thirds from James and Harrison.
Yeah.
And we got two top thirds from myself and Max.
Not
I have
surprised.
a prediction that we, who knows? We'll see where this ends up.
Wait.
But if that's, that
Did
might
you just
be a
say
hint.
my prediction is who knows?
No, the prediction is I bet it won't be a very different number spread.
Oh, I see.
All right, so let me go over what the hell the show
Sure.
is.
Please
What
do.
the hell is it? Why is George Lopez on it?
That is a good question. I can't answer that one. So the show is a panel of 30 single female women, supposedly. Who knows?
Female women.
Which
Women.
part of that is
What
supposedly?
is this supposed to say?
Supposedly single is what I
Okay.
meant.
So they're definitely women, or are they supposedly women?
They're supposedly women. I
How
don't
do you
know.
go in this show and not be single? You're like
You
whoever their other is not going to be like.
Maybe they're into it.
You just press the button every time.
Okay.
And these 30 women are on some sort of panel judging a one dude. So the dude comes out and then
Comes
they
down an elevator.
And-
Weird capsule elevator thing.
We'll get into the minutia, guys. We'll get into it.
Okay.
He comes out, he does a little intro thing, then they get a chance to say he's bad and negative and bounce out of there. And if one of the women is there at the end, the single man that's there gets to choose to go on a date with one of the women that is left. That is the gist of it. It's all about judging. We've done a lot of these dating judging shows already. So this is like
We might have done this exact show.
Some would say we have.
some would
done.
say, as we've already discussed.
It's kind
There's-
of the opposite of that. What's that popular show where they're singing and then all the judges are facing the other direction and then they hit a thing to spin around? If
The
they
Voice?
Like
The
it?
Voice.
The Voice,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is like the opposite of that,
It's
right?
reverse voice, and you go on dates and not get
Right,
the contract.
right, and it's about love. So
No.
Is it about love?
Chris,
It's
did
not
you
about
not see the
love.
hearts?
it's a shallow.
There were
love.
so many hearts.
It is more reverse The Bachelor because the single person has no power instead of all
Until
the
the
power.
end when they then get all the power.
Sure.
They get the final pick
Yeah.
if they make it that
It-
far.
If they make it that far.
It's very similar to Naked Attraction, I think.
It's definitely very similar.
Like
But
no
clothes
one
are
is
on.
naked.
There's nobody.
To the show's
mean-
detriment.
That's the number one thing about Naked Attraction is that people are naked and there's no one naked on the
But
show.
do you think they're emotionally bare in those video segments?
Definitely not.
All right.
This show in Britain though is definitely just naked though, right? Like if they move this show,
That is Naked Attraction. What are you talking about?
I have good
no,
news
but like
for
you can make the
James.
same rules where it's the 30 people, not like 3 people.
I guess.
Like there was far fewer people on Naked Attraction.
there are only 6. That's true.
Yeah.
I have good news for you, James. That show exists.
Oh no.
It's the original one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Really?
All right, guys. Let's. All right, I'm gonna go over what happens in the show. Then we get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
some
yeah.
minutia and not get sidetracked so
I
often.
can't wait to get to the minutia.
The
All right.
minutia is going to be great.
So George Lopez comes out and intros these 30 women, asks some very odd questions, which we will probably get to. Then he has tons of puns about, will you hit the button or not? And Danny is the first single man to come out and try to woo these women. He ends up, spoilers, gets on a date, Then the next young gentleman was Justice.
Ooh, justice.
He
was rough.
did not get a date. He blacked out. Then blacked
He just
out.
started
Just
drinking a whole
drinking,
bunch.
yeah.
More ways than one.
He blacked out, dude.
When all the lights go
All right, we'll
off,
get
it's
it.
a blackout.
Minutia.
Mikey was the next gentleman. He also did not fare. He fared a little bit better, but not enough.
He's still blacked out.
He still blacked out. And then we have Evan, our last single gentleman.
Crushed it.
He's crushing it. I mean, not
did
as much
good.
as the first person.
True.
We're talking about Manchester, right? The
Yeah.
Yeah, DV is
deepest
Evan.
V you've ever seen.
I
Definitely
can
deep
guarantee
V.
you one of you women will pick him.
George Lopez. Come on,
All right.
I think Annabeth was a fan of the deep V. I'm just saying.
Huge fan.
All right, so let's go over this. George Lopez comes out, and the second question he asks somebody,
What's the first question?
I don't remember.
It's something very reasonable. Something like, what brings you to the show or whatever. I don't know. He goes to the next person and he says, what do you sleep in?
No, it was what do you wear to bed?
What do you wear?
Hey Kelly,
Oh yeah, he asked it so
what do you
like
wear
this
to bed?
He only asks 3 questions at the beginning. The first is that normal one, and then he asks the next 2 people what they wear to bed.
It was so weird.
But like the answer, the first person he asked what to wear to bed was so weird. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
clearly like
I have it written.
premeditated.
I have it written down.
Oh, hit
Give
me.
it to us, Chris.
Ninja Turtle footy pajamas.
And then he follows up with, "But does that look sexy?"
Yeah,
She says, I make it look sexy.
And does like a
On me.
A little shimmy.
little wiggle, little,
All right.
little shimmy sham.
the second person also says like, I wear whatever I wore that day, and I was like, what? That makes even less sense.
Definitely. At least the Ninja Turtle thing is like, oh, that's like a fun, like interesting, like thing that you
All
know.
right,
that
Ninja
girl
Turtle
does.
thing. Is
Oh,
this
boy.
true, or did you just
Definitely
say
not.
that for the show?
I think it's true, but this raises more questions. Who wears a single piece of clothes every day to bed? When do you launder that?
So Max, are you just asking Rob what he wears to bed? I think
No,
that's all
I'm
you're
just I'm
asking.
just saying like you gotta have
Like, I'm pretty sure that's what you're asking.
you gotta have multiple things that you like cycle through.
I think
To
the
bed?
real story
Sure.
is here. She owns this thing.
yes, sure.
I don't think she ever wears this thing, but it exists in
So
some
you think
sort of
she
closet.
does own it? She can just be like, this would be a funny answer.
She owned it. I don't know if she actively owns it.
I'm
like
with Chris.
owned
Like,
it. Did she own it when she
100%.
was 10?
Possible.
No,
Okay.
I think I'm building on Chris though. Like I think she still owns it, and it's like maybe a once a month or every like once in a while kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, like I've worn that to bed before. I'm definitely not in the boat of I believe she wears that every night.
She definitely doesn't wear it every night. It's questionable that she owns it, and it's very questionable that she wears it. Let's be honest.
Anyway,
All right, I have this. As the first young gentleman comes out, George Lopez says, "Let the chicken see the noodles."
I really.
What does that
so
mean?
lost.
I don't know.
no,
Max, explain this to us.
my best guess is like I'm trying to think of a example, but it's like thing X that would know thing Y very well meet thing Y.
Yeah, but it becomes
What?
like a recurring joke because every time someone comes
I
out,
have
he says
many
a
more
weird
of
thing.
these, by the way. I will be peppering them in as we go through the minutia. I wrote down a lot of these.
The writing on the show is really something.
What year did the show air again?
2012,
Yeah.
Oh man, it's not. That's too recent to be this bad.
and it feels it doesn't-
90s.
It feels 2008 to me.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you would think it would be 2008 because I feel like 2008 is probably George Lopez at the height of his powers, and at this point he's kind of on the decline.
Do you know the
Voice is cracking.
career trajectory of George Lopez? Like,
I don't.
I
I
couldn't
just-
tell you a single thing.
He had a residency in Vegas, I think, right?
I mean,
I
he had a
just-
sitcom for a while. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I
George
just-
Lopez show.
I just get the sense that he was pretty popular when I was in college, so I don't know.
I think didn't he do like a late night talk show or something too, something like that?
The George Lopez show.
Yeah. Well, what was the other
He had
one
a,
with
he had
him
a
and the
thing
family?
on TBS.
Yeah, like what was that other show with the Lowrider song?
I thought that that's just some sitcom. I think that might also be the George Lopez show, but it's a
Yeah.
sitcom.
That's what like why does everything this dude is like the George Lopez show?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. All right.
George
Danny
Lopez.
comes out and he does. I don't remember his intro. So, like, he introed.
Some weird dance or something.
Yeah.
Not as weird as guy number 2, but
Yeah. So
like there's like I don't know, I guess they pick a song and they like
they
stroll
pick
out,
a
do
song
whatever.
and they come down this, like, tube thing.
So the tube thing is the same as the Chinese "If You Are the One," but in the Chinese film, it's the same Little John song.
Was the tube always next to the women or was it on the other side?
I think it was on the other side.
Yeah. So they come out in the middle of the women and they have to, like, walk to the other side of the stage.
It's like a runway kind of thing. It's like
And
you kind of strip
the
your
first,
stuff.
most people came out and did, like, some sort of dance to their, like, song, which worked out for one person.
The first guy.
The fir-
The first guy
No,
also
the
like
first guy
lip
was the
sync.
singer.
Yeah, he like lip
Yeah.
synced the
oh
song.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
the
And then later
was-
we learned he was a singer.
He kind of had a Chris Pratt vibe to him.
Is that Chris Pratt?
He's like the poor man's Chris Pratt.
He looks like a contestant on early American Idol.
100%.
Yeah.
He had a vest on, yeah.
So George Lopez says right before he, like, sees if they want to go on or off, will Danny still be the Manny?
Oh, that was a bad one.
It was
Man.
so bad.
Like I feel like every time he says this, we just all look at each other and just
I know, that's why I had to write them down.
Oof, it was a rough one. Okay.
So
But
his
what's weird though at this point is that the girls can't hit the like X button yet, right? Like
they have to wait until George Lopez gives the pun.
Right. they
That's
have to like
de-
get to the first pun.
I
of the
didn't write
round.
the first pun down for this, so I'm upset. I think it was
bad.
repeated later in the show, so we'll probably get to it.
I'm pretty sure on If You Are the One, you can punch out whenever,
Yeah.
which
like
it's
tube.
like
Yeah.
it's already pretty good when they do it in this one, but especially in If You Are the One, like the timing of some of the buzzes is incredible.
So the comparison is like you hit them whenever. Here, George Lopez tells you to hit it, and it's like right
for-
after
yeah.
the intro, and then during like the video, they play a video, and then they either play a second video or do some sort of talent.
Yeah.
Seems to be, and then he gets to pick if your light is still on.
Right. But so like only the first impression, they have to kind of wait for George Lopez to give the thing. Once they're playing that first video, people are just dropping out left and right.
Oh,
yeah, but then if George Lopez is interviewing the women
Yeah.
after, like, for, as we'll get to, you can't get out then.
That's true. That's true.
So
like- it's only
there's
while the videos are
definitely
playing.
times where you can and can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The video definitely allows you to go out whenever, and that's great.
That
You
is
get
so good.
you still get the If You Are the One effect there,
For
Totally.
sure.
just not in the intro. Like not like, oh, that face, bam. Like that's like not.
We're
just
watching
happening.
the show and we're just like turning to each other and just making bah noises to each other. I'm like, this guy's got to get out after he's just said that.
Oh yeah.
This format really works for watching with friends. Like,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's really fun to like just judge and reject.
Well, on that note, this guy's first video, he's like in this band, and he's like, yeah, I've got a lot of group. He's not in the band, right? He's a
no,
group.
the first video, or sorry, the first video segment is
Yeah.
him singing on stage with a guitar.
No, that was the second.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first
that-
part he had a video.
It was a video.
It was video first.
First
Yeah.
there was video.
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
got them
what are you
mixed up.
doing? You ruined the flow here. Get out of here.
I really thought he
James.
just started out strong.
No. He was in this video
Oh.
where he was like, I think he was in the band, or he was
He was in the
He's-
band.
he was in the
Definitely in
band.
the
Okay.
band.
Sorry, guys, I'm in the penalty box.
And
Wait, Chris. Why would he have that if he were not in that band?
I don't know. There was some weird conversation that I could barely hear about. Anyway, there's some sort of groupie situation, and there was a lot of bants at the groupies.
Yeah.
He was made a reference to I'm in a band and band means lots of groupies. As soon as the word groupies was out, bah, bah, bah.
Well, and I think he said something like, "If you're gonna be my girl, you're gonna have to follow the band." Like,
Ooh.
It really is like a Chris Pratt situation.
a mouse rat.
A mouse rat
Sort of
situation.
situation.
Did we discuss his band name?
It's like dead asleep or some shit.
I know it, but does anyone else?
Silence.
Give it to me.
I like Max guessing because he's so close, but it's not it. It's Light Sleeper.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. There were a bunch of people that punched out as soon as they heard the band name.
That's a real dumb band name.
Light Sleeper. Bam.
What style of music was his band?
I have no freaking clue.
Chris Pratt.
Groupie music.
They're still putting things out as of 2017. Oh, wait. Nope, I'm wrong.
Nope.
So,
He's in the box.
so after this video, George Lopez goes and interviews some of the women on the panel, and one of them says, "I'll be that chocolate to that milk."
There were a lot of questionable comments made on all sides in this show.
Oh yeah.
I want to
there
know:
were.
do the women have writers too? Like, is she like coming up with that on her own, or are there writers being like, "Hey, oh, if you like
No.
this guy, like."
I think that's why when they say it, it just doesn't work. Is because like before the show, they come up with like one, maybe two things interesting that they think they're gonna say, and then whenever they get the chance, whenever George like, okay, Katie Ann, go, it's like I'm just gonna say whatever that thing I said was and try to make it apply, and most time it doesn't work.
I
Like
mean,
the women get to talk like maybe once during the show.
Right.
I think you're totally right.
They
Like they're
just-
like, "This is my line.
This is
Yeah.
this is my thing.
This is it."
I
Right.
mean, so on that point, so we watched If You Are the One, like season like 37 or something. So like some of these women have been on this fucking show for like years. So they're like,
Man, that's so sad when you say it that way.
that's true though.
But it's so bad.
I mean, they're popular. I think the women get on the show and they realize these other women have been there for so long. They're so popular that like the US version isn't even close to being here long enough for that to be a thing.
I think it is like a threat though. Like at the beginning when he was like, "And if you don't find your perfect man, you'll be back."
Oh, no,
Trapped
George.
forever.
Some kind of TV show cave with George Lopez. Oh no.
So,
Oh.
how many episodes did this show last in 2012?
I don't know.
It was like 8 or
And
10.
then all the women were like, "We gotta go."
It was definitely 8 episodes. It's not quite a you the jury situation, but it's in the same ballpark.
I mean, it was on Fox, right?
So
like-
some women were like, I'm going to stay on this show for a few years, get some recognition, get some fame. 8 episodes.
Done.
be that
Dream
social
shattered.
media influencer, maybe.
2012 was a great time to try to be a social media influencer.
Get on Vine.
So, so I have one of the puns here.
Hit me.
If you're not turned on, turn off.
Turn it off.
Man, when the audience having to say this along with George Lopez was just painful.
But here's the thing.
So-
The first time the audience said it along, by the end of the show, the audience was not trying anymore. Like they'd given up on trying to play along with George Lopez. They're like, we're not
We're over
humoring
it.
this anymore.
Yeah.
So, two things. A, not a pun. B,
I mean, that's fair.
more of a catchphrase.
It's the catchphrase of the show.
It's just a shitty catchphrase.
I think that was more of the lamest one.
How was that 2 points?
Just yeah.
All right.
I want to talk about how he picked between the two women at the end.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I mean, he sang a song.
No, and then he asked them, "What would you sing me to bed at night?"
Oh, yeah.
Got to go out on that one.
All right, James, what were the two songs?
It's I'll Always Love You was the first one. And I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith.
All of us started looking at each other because this is the correct answer, and we're just losing our fucking minds.
I can't believe that girl's off the show. That's the worst part.
She gave the right answer to
Oh,
get the date.
do we have to watch the next episode and see how their date went?
I think so.
Yes.
We didn't like. So I'm pretty sure that this is the guy who says the insane thing before.
Yeah.
So we didn't tee this up, but basically there's these two people left, and George Lopez is like, okay, why, like, you know, like, why did you decide to keep these two as the last two? And he's just like, well, you know, they're just really polar opposites, and they hadn't said anything at all, and he's just judging on their looks. And one of these girls is white, and one of these girls is black, and it is not a good look. It is no good.
There was a ton of like very casual racism.
There really was.
Oh, yeah.
Not vitriolic, but there's a lot of like, you know, yeah, I want that white meat. Yeah, I want that dark chocolate sort of stuff going on. It's wild.
There were a lot of comments
There's
like
a lot
that.
of weird sexualization of stuff that like didn't need it.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah, welcome to Fox and 2012.
You had me at tool belt.
What does this mean?
Yeah. I mean, he picks the woman, and they go to the Take Me Out Resort, which
Tell me about the Take Me Out Resort.
is they go on a date somewhere. That is the resort.
An ever-changing resort.
Some kind of ranch type place, it seems like.
I
So-
feel like it's the same place. They just go different places.
It didn't really look like the same place.
Well, because we saw a sushi making date. We saw a picnic in a field. What else did we
And
see?
A boxing date?
Yeah,
a boxing match.
date.
And they went in some sort of hot tub on that date.
I mean,
Which-
hot
Sure,
tub
like,
could be
you
You
anywhere.
can do all of
You
these
can
things.
have a hot tub in a ranch. You could definitely have a hot
Yeah,
tub.
yeah. I mean, theoretically, some of these things could be in the
You
same
had
place.
me until the boxing match, and then I'm like, now, no way.
They
Now
didn't
I'm
even,
out.
they're not even pretending like it's the same place, though.
So, like you know, like oh, you go to like Vegas, a big boxing match. It looked like there was like 30 people in the crowd for that boxing
Yeah.
match.
There were a lot of shots of her laughing at the boxing match, which I don't really understand what that was about. But
That
She
was a
was
weird
definitely
cut.
not into that boxing match.
It was like, we were laughing.
So like on Chinese, if you are the one, they're always going to the Aegean Sea.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have given us more clue into where this.
Look, I'll give
ranch
you a
was.
clue. They were going to L.A. because they were in L.A. and they were going on a date in L.A.
Didn't George
right.
say the first time he queued up the resort, wasn't he like, a place it's impossible not to fall in love?
Yeah. I think it's very possible to not fall in love with this place.
Do you think they had like initially when they were doing the show, they're like, okay, it's gonna be kind of Bachelor Paradise Island kind of situation, blah blah. Then they get into it and they're like, we're cutting the budget on that. Like we don't think that the show's gonna make it, so there's no island.
The
this year,
date
guys.
budget is slashed to $100.
Right.
Here
like,
you go.
it would definitely be great if like this season of this show was like the feeder show for a whole season of the couples hanging out at some resort. Like that would be pretty
It's
good.
the feeder to the BIP of this show.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I mean, so this show has the same issue that Naked Attraction had. That was like, these two people, they don't live near each other. This shit's not going to work out. This show is a waste of time for everyone involved.
But more importantly, they've never spoken.
Yeah, I mean, both of these shows, they do not know each other. So like, to go on a date looks, I mean, that'll happen. But like, if you don't live near each other, like, it's just a waste of time, essentially. Unless you're just like looking for some sort of one night stand, which none of these people really seem like that's what they were up for. I mean, sometimes they did.
I
but
mean,
not a lot.
there were a lot of very sexual comments made.
Yeah, pre-canned sexual comments.
I mean, yeah, like if like the guy lives in Seattle and like the girl lives in Boston, like there's no way that's gonna last.
It's
long-term.
impossible.
It's impossible.
Oh, you know what I just realized?
What?
So the first guy
Yeah.
went like picked someone, right?
Yeah.
How did they replace the girl? They didn't explain that in
They
the show.
so
Like
I know
unlike the other one.
I know from the other one that
Right.
they always have a couple girls,
No,
on deck.
They showed a new girl.
There was a very like quick like 2-second thing where George's like,
Oh.
and now we got Candy and like they showed her really quick
Yeah.
and then they moved on.
Okay. Like I feel like in the other one there was like like the pit of like
The-
replacement girls.
the
and
bull-
like, the
the-
camera's like, who's it gonna be? And it's like, oh, it's
You're
somebody.
talking, of course, of the Boulevard of Love.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course.
Of
Tell
course
us more,
I was.
Max.
I'll bring it back to that, but first I want to get back on topic with
What?
like the show.
This is the only time it's making
All right,
sense.
Boulevard of Love. All right, the audience in the Chinese version of the show has a bunch of replacement people. So like they can pull from that to like go replace somebody among the 24, but B, as the guy's walking away, somebody in the audience can raise their hand and say, "Wait, I want him."
And steal.
And steal, yeah. You
well,
just-
this was if they got blacked out.
Yeah. Oh
Shit. Chris's goat thing.
Pause it.
It's fine.
No, don't pause
It's
it. Roll it.
good.
Roll it. Roll it.
Oh my
It's
god.
Some kind of a
Man.
coat treat incident here.
Oh my god.
James, you should probably cool it on the chair. That was clearly you were like, oh, you're right next to the thing.
You can't pin this one on me.
I could certainly pin it on you. You're right there.
We're definitely pinning on you. You're the one beside the coat rack.
Hey,
Oh my
no,
God.
no coats were harmed in the recording of this podcast.
All right.
All right.
It's a lot.
All right, let's pull it back.
So this show,
Let's pull it back. No.
this show needs the podcast in the show. So
Oh yeah.
if you are the one Chinese edition had like there was Grandpa Meng, but it was like a whole
Yeah.
crew of
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
commenting. This show just says George Lopez
Yeah.
and nothing else.
Yeah.
It really needs to cut away to a bunch of people just dunking on these people. And why is that not here?
Because that's not a thing in American reality TV.
But it's got to be a thing.
I agree with you. We've been telling that for 2 years now that we need Terrace House's podcast within the show to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Now that Terrace House is somewhat of a thing now on Netflix, maybe it'll happen. but
Hopefully.
it doesn't seem like it's making it to American productions at all. It's all this, stupid booth bullshit.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Can we come back around to booth bullshit?
No.
Could you please
We're moving
explain
on.
that? Define it.
So
All right.
between commercial breaks,
Yes.
there is this commercial where they're like, let us know your perfect guy on Twitter. And it was whatever the name of the show is.
Hashtag perfect guy.
There was no hashtag on the screen. They
Not
didn't
on the
say
screen.
they
They
didn't
just-
say a
they spoke it.
hashtag. They was just like, do they know how Twitter works?
It's 2012. People are still learning. The president wasn't on Twitter yet. Actually, the president was on Twitter in
Obama was
2012.
probably on Twitter in
That's
2012.
definitely true. He was definitely on Twitter.
The president was an insane person on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
All right. And then we come back from commercial to our new young gentleman.
There's something in the middle actually.
All right.
So the first guy goes to the resort and then he says, let's check in on what the last person we sent to the resort is doing.
We talked about
No, I gotta talk about minutia.
Okay.
So they show people who went to the resort last week, and the girl's like, "Yeah, we have a bunch of chemistry, and I think he's really sweet, and he really made me reconsider cowboys." And the guy in a cowboy hat is like, "Yeah, she's hot." It was pretty good.
They also showed that on his episode, his talent portion was riding a bull.
oh
Which
yeah,
looked really good.
that was so good.
It's a
All
good
right.
talent portion.
that was worthy minutia.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I just thought we were done with that date because we talked about it already. It's fine.
So
Our next young gentleman is Justice.
Ooh, justice.
If he's not out of sight, turn out the light.
And they did.
And they did.
there was a lot of. It was a quick one on this one. I feel like.
He just comes out terribly. He does some weird dance
Goofy,
thing.
goofy dance.
His weird
prance.
dance did not help
Prance
him.
dance.
It was a prance dance. of
There's some sort of all by myself song. Did not go well for him.
Well, the All By
No, no.
Myself
That
is
was
when he
when
got
he
kicked out.
Okay.
His intro song, was he the one who introed to the I'd Walk 500 Miles?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Which
Max goes strong song selection. I think was his reaction.
I think the song selection was fine.
Yeah.
The prance though was
The
not.
prance was
No.
not.
Did he make it to the video? I feel like he got kicked out
Yeah, yeah,
immediately
he
as his
definitely made it to the
started.
video.
He was like, "Yeah, I have a motorcycle because I'm cool."
Yeah, he
His
made
video was
he,
horrible.
he made it to both videos actually.
I don't remember. I
He
don't have
moved
my
in
notes
with
do
his
not have any
grandma.
specific
Yeah.
details on this dude, so I don't remember.
Remember Grandma?
Let me
We got it. We
give
got
you
it.
a little refresher. He's riding on a motorcycle very like awkwardly, like, you know, this is a guy who's probably not that cool, trying to pretend to be cool. He's like, yeah, I ride a motorcycle. Yeah, I rock climb. There's a little like video of him like giving a little thumbs up and a wink. It sucks.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, my grandma was sick, so I hopped on my bike and drove 1,800 miles to live with my grandma. And a bunch of people buzz out right at that.
I remember.
That's
what
video one.
happened. Yeah.
Video two, grandma's like, I love that my grandson really loves his heritage, and then he's dancing in a kilt.
Oh yeah.
And also video 2, we get to learn about what his job is.
Yeah, I was like this. I was pretty sure this is where this was going.
What was his job?
And he works in show business.
Oh,
he is
yeah.
a film projectionist at a movie theater.
Yep.
And that was it.
Oh man,
Immediately blackout.
we gotta
And
talk about the
there
girl
was-
that rejected.
Oh
because
yeah.
of that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so one of the girls, like right as it goes to the shot of him like scooping up some popcorn at like the movie theater or whatever, and so George Lopez comes over. So I forget the girl's name. Why'd you block this guy out? And he's like, I can't deal with anybody that's in showbiz, like in the industry.
And then
George
Lopez,
is very confused, as is Oliver Wee, because he's like, he's not in the industry. He works like kind of for the industry, I guess, but he's
tangential.
Just, yeah.
It was a very LA comment. It was like I can't date guys in the industry, but she just works at a movie theater.
It's so
Well,
weird.
and then she clarifies and she's like, yeah, but he's still behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Of the movie theater.
Right. Oh yeah, because that's like which George I think reacted on the mic with like, but he's not.
Then after he gets kicked out, they like interview him, and he was like, they like me when I lived with my grandma, but like a full-time job, and they kicked me out. And
They didn't like him when he lived with his grandma.
Some of
There's
them
not
did.
a lot left.
there wasn't a lot left, but that was his comment,
Yeah.
not my comment.
So when the I don't know if we mentioned when the people leave and they've actually picked someone, they play this song and they make the women do this kind of choreographed dance, and they're like making hearts with their hands and stuff.
Yep.
And when the guy leaves and everyone's rejected him and he leaves by himself, they play All By Myself, and they make the women do this like choreographed wave goodbye, and it says bye bye behind the guy. It's pretty good.
It's so wonderful.
It definitely reminds me of like cheerleading or just this like choreographed. It's very well choreographed from what we can see.
Yep.
A little synchronized swimming.
Oh yeah.
Any other nuances we want to go over with the date after Justice Max? Do you have any?
Nothing.
You got nothing for that date? I don't remember what the date was.
There's one other minor thing that I feel like in the minutia segment is interesting to bring up, which is so at some point like the dude when it's like getting like narrowed down to like the last 2 or 3, like he'll kind of walk around and like have to reject somebody.
Mm-hmm.
What I found kind of interesting though was that like some dudes would kind of walk up and play it off and like, okay, no, I wasn't, I'm still into you. But then like all the women around the one are like trying to defend the button. Like I'm very confused as to why though. Like
Sisterhood.
I loved it.
they're just it was very
They're so
odd.
invested.
Explain it
Yeah.
to James.
They've been on this show for years. They want someone to get out, and this is their girl.
like, "Please
she has a
take her."
chance to escape.
Well, they
and
want
have to get her.
they want a new woman next to them. They want some new blood. They're
Oh,
tired of her.
Interesting.
What if behind the scenes all these women are like in like some sort of labor camp, and this is like the one chance at freedom, and they're just so excited someone gets out.
like I can't believe Cindy
Like,
made
we
it
made a
out this
pact.
week.
We made a pact. It was gonna be Cindy.
Yeah.
Let her go.
Like, please take her. She's our only hope. She said she'll write us, tell us how the outside world is.
What was the name of the main woman who was near the middle that George talked to a whole bunch?
Mindy.
Mindy.
Do we got to talk about Mindy?
Oh,
Nah.
we should go for it.
Go for it.
How would you describe Mindy, Rob?
Blonde.
Very blonde. Very
She's
blonde.
dated a lot of Guidos.
Oh, she had daylight. I guess we could talk to. We could wait to talk to Mindy.
But
till
we'll
we
get to
the
that.
big guy.
She also states that she can't get any skinnier. 'Cause she's tried. I'm pretty sure that was her quote.
Some sort of anorexic.
Oh yeah, but very big boobs.
All right.
I feel like Mindy.
She definitely did.
If
like,
this
I don't know
show
what
had
to tell
gone
you.
on for like 5 years, I feel like Mindy just never gets off the
No.
show.
George is
Mindy
only
didn't
have
want
a
to get
thing.
off the show.
No.
I think she's getting with George.
Oh, that's a good theory.
Georgia was showing her a lot of airtime. I'm just
Sure.
saying. She's got that front and center spot. Prime real estate. You got to be on the show for years to earn it.
Oh,
All right. Speaking of Guidos, our
yeah.
next young gentleman is named Mikey.
Tell us about Mikey.
Ladies, if you're not smitten, you have that button. You should be hitting.
That one's okay.
Oh, no. Oof. It's so funny. 'cause it's so bad.
Yeah, he comes out also to an awkward dance.
Yes.
Not quite as bad as our boy, what's his name?
Justice.
Justice.
Yeah.
But still not great.
Not great.
What was his song? Do you remember what his
Is
song
this
was?
Lowrider?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
George Lopez was very into the fact his song was Lowrider.
I thought he was not into it.
No, he was like, he said like, I'm excited by that song.
But I
Yeah.
thought he made a comment about like you'd be out already if it was up to me.
no,
thought he
think
made a
was-
comment
I think
about
he was
that.
excited about it.
Because that's the theme song to his show, apparently. Right?
Yeah.
His sitcom.
That's the opening track. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, he is a self-proclaimed Guido, which I guess we don't really find out until the second video.
That's true.
His first video, like he walks out and he looks nice. Like I think he
Yeah,
looked.
He was
And-
doing strong until he got to one point in the first video,
Well-
and then it really started to go downhill.
The video
He came
pops
out
up.
with that purple French tuck.
Yo,
He
yeah.
had the talk.
With that bright white smile.
People loved it.
They loved it.
There was reference to his white smile, and I was a little concerned based on
I think
previous
he
comments.
takes care of his hygiene.
But I think it was a teeth comment.
well,
He did have very white teeth.
his
Yes.
in his video, his hair looked way worse than his hair that he looked at in
yeah.
the studio.
The
for
second they
sure.
go to him talking about is that he's got to gel up his hair, and then it goes close up, and he's got like a faux hawk kind of going now. And it's just super greased up, and like I don't even know, like it's still 2012, but like it looked like it was like now like a 90s thing.
It was very Tool Academy.
Right. If yeah, that's a great way to sum it up. Because as soon as they show that shot, then it's like the hair gelled into a tank top, then to him like getting a spray tan or like whatever.
Tanning bed.
Now you have to explain Tool Academy.
No,
No
I
one
don't.
knows what Tool Academy.
What do you
is.
No.
mean? We've covered it on the show, Chris.
Just go to the archives.
Everyone has listened to every episode.
Chris,
Okay.
It's a season 1, right? I
Chris,
think?
you
Yeah.
understand the way people listen to this podcast, right? Every time we make a reference, they pause it, they go watch the entire season of Tool Academy, and they continue with their life.
Okay, all right.
Tool Academy. We also have, I think, like photo for like Halloween as we donned the Tool Academy gear on our Facebook page.
I forgot about
That
that.
is true.
Facebook.com/you should put this on.
Ancient
plug.
history.
Great plug.
All right, Rob. What happened in this video?
So the first video is going along for a bit, and he's like, "Oh no, by the way, I live in this apartment, and my mom lives in the apartment next door." Brr, brr, brr.
I mean, I'm definitely hitting that button at that statement for sure.
Yeah. So there's still a few left after that, but like it clearly went from a lot of people still in to a lot of people out at that moment.
Then what was the nail in the coffin on this one?
The nail in the coffin was they started the next video, and he just got into his hair routine. His friend, and this is like something that they didn't do enough of, that they did a lot of in the original If You Are the One, of the friends in the video just burning the guy really hard, and the friend's like, yeah, you give him 24 hours to get ready, he's spending 23 hours on his hair, and everyone's out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first statement in the second video.
And then there was no more statements.
It lasted
the video
5
was
seconds.
over because he was out.
I kind of wanted to see the like.
Oh, I love the fact they just stopped the video. They're like, it's
All
out.
right.
Rant.
It does make it nice. They're like, oh well, you're out. Cut. Get
on.
out of here.
Oh, bye.
30
Bye-bye.
30 seconds later, they're off.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
Then we got our the last gentleman,
Deep V Manchester.
Evan.
Evan.
Even his name has a V.
See the gravy. I don't understand. See the gravy. See the single man. That's what George Lopez says
George
as
Lopez
Evan
phoned
comes
that
out.
one in.
Like, I feel like the ladies should be able to hit the worm on the George Lopez puns. Like, I think that would be a
That's
nice
just
touch.
like,
Oh, that would be
what?
great.
I don't get that one. That some of them may work. That does not work at all.
I wish the women could just buzz out George Lopez. I just have to bring in a different host.
That would be so good.
Like suddenly Conan O'Brien's coming down the elevator.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now it's me.
Conan would be amazing as a host for this
why-
show.
Alex Trebek.
Ooh.
It's Grandpa Meng. He just suddenly shows up.
He's back.
This show with Conan would be great though.
So what was
Like-
Evan's song again?
Usher, OMG.
Oh yes, that's right.
There was one pun, or not pun, but one intro where they said, "Let the peach meet the cobbler,"
What did that mean?
which was,
I really didn't
which
understand
was
that.
up there with
it's the chicken
and
in the
noodle.
It's the same thing.
Chicken meets the noodle.
That one was also dumb. I
Yeah.
don't- George's got to
they-
work on his.
man.
These
puns.
are
I don't
definitely
get it.
dumb. There's no question, Rob.
So Evan has a strong intro here. Nobody is out.
Whoa,
Every
one
no, no,
person
no,
is
no,
in.
no.
One person.
One person went out.
She sucked.
Yes.
Who was?
She was like, I think you look like a stripper at my bachelorette party.
Oh, right,
That
because
was
the
so-
man chest.
She
DP.
couldn't handle the man chest.
Right.
We need to talk about this now. That like some of these women, they need some airtime. If you're the only one to hit that button, you get airtime.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Guaranteed.
So
Yeah.
like whether you'd be in or out, I feel like if you want that airtime, you gotta hit that button sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to hit that button.
You're saying
whenever,
she's not in it for the true love.
Yeah. Like if everyone is out after the first video, but you get some airtime. Like
Definitely.
you gotta.
That might have been the only time we saw her the whole show.
No, we saw her briefly before, but there's definitely people on the show we did not see.
Right. And there's only 8 episodes, so,
So,
like, you know,
sucks to suck.
right? You got to get some of that airtime. What was the first video?
Was it him with the tool belt?
Yeah.
I think him with the tool belt.
All right, so he's like, yeah, I've been in construction since I was 12. That raises some questions.
Sixth
You know,
grade.
I like to dabble in a little bit of everything. I do some music. Picture of him like typing very furiously on a computer.
And singing, I think, on the mic and whatever, like
yeah.
a voiceover.
Then there's you see him walking out of his apartment and he says, "Oh, P.S. I live next to my mom." And his mom walks out of the apartment directly next to him.
Oh, he was on the next one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
screwed
That's
that
why I
up.
was a little
Sorry,
confused by
sorry.
what you were saying.
I got
but-
confused.
No
between
worries.
the weird guys.
Instantly, a fuck ton of people who are instantly like rule into this guy just drop the fuck out.
That's right. But he didn't lose everybody.
Oh, Mikey was the radiologist.
Yeah.
Mikey was the radiologist.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
that girl had that sick burn that was like, if you're a radiologist, how can you be using that tanning bed?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, whoa!
That's right.
She said it was an oxymoron.
She definitely did. I don't think he had a response to that one.
Nope.
Not at
He
all.
definitely.
It's like,
I
is
mean,
what it is.
he just
But
smiled.
he did some. Didn't he say something about like looking good?
Right. He's like, gotta
It's
look
worth
good. like,
There is no response to that.
That was basically his. Yeah, I said- yeah. That was like his response to everything. He's like, "Hey, gotta look good."
Back to Evan here.
Back to Evan.
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 If you're not feeling bright, turn out your light.
Evan also.
bad.
Evan
The
also
crowd
was
was
a
definitely
Zumba
not playing
instructor.
along at that point.
Yeah, the Zumba.
The Zumba was good.
All of a sudden, he's
Oh,
Zumba.
yeah.
He's a professional Zumba.
Yeah.
He
Well, he
Zumba
teaches
instructor.
Zumba classes. Does that make you a professional
I think
Zumba?
you got to be like certified or
I
something.
mean, if you're
right?
Yeah.
getting paid for it,
Definitely not. You don't have to be.
What's higher than that?
Zumba is a certification thing, believe it or not.
Okay.
What is the technical term for someone who does Zumba?
Zumba
Zoologist.
master.
Zumbist.
Well, I feel like if I go to my gym and they say they have a Zumba class, I'm assuming that's just some dude that kind of knows how to Zumba. I'm not like I don't think he's certified in Zumba.
No, I don't
Unless
think
I
you
go
can
to
call
a
it
z-
Zumba unless it's
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zumba
Because
is a trademark.
Zumba's getting the royalties off of those classes or whatever. Like, there's definitely some kind of Zumba cut there.
Yep.
Some kind of jazz.
So Zumba is a special case.
Yeah.
Because like
Zumba's
if
special.
somebody's like saying they're host yoga or something, I'm not assuming that they're like certified in yoga
No.
Yeah,
teaching stuff.
Yeah.
But Zumba is separate.
Like, there are like certain kinds of yoga, yeah, like that you can get certified in, but just if you're just a yoga instructor, it's.
yeah, I was just like
No,
if I
you're
go
a
to my
yoga-
gym,
No. If you're a yoga instructor, you're certified.
But
For
is
sure.
but
For
is it
sure.
like a legal requirement?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't-
but studios won't accept you unless you
Right.
have that certification.
It's more of a studio policy.
Right.
There's no studio. It's so dangerous.
well,
No way.
Like if I went to a yoga studio, yes. But if I went to
some
like
kind of off the street.
well, if I went, my gym is not a yoga studio; it's a gym, and they have a yoga class every once in a while.
I still think it's led by someone who took that yoga instruction class.
Here's where the distinction lies. If you go on Craigslist and write in, I'm a yoga teacher, but you have no certification, you can do that. If you go on Craigslist and say, I'm a Zumba teacher, Zumba Corp is going to call you up and say, you can't do anything you want
Big
at
Zumba.
Corp.
We broke your legs.
Here's that cease and desist.
Yeah.
I have a very random story about yoga instructors.
Hit me.
So on the show 24,
Yeah.
there was a character, Bill Buchanan, who was on many seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Turned out the actor who played Bill Buchanan in his spare time was just a yoga instructor in L.A.
That's
Whoa.
wild.
And you could go and just take a yoga class from Bill Buchanan from CTU, and that sounds amazing.
Did you do it?
And I did not do it, but I wish I did.
Man.
Damn.
Sounds incredible.
All right. Back to this Deep V gentleman.
Evan.
Evan.
Who is dressed nicely though? Like he's
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
like a full on suit. Like you know,
It is very odd how big of a deep V he gets in that outfit.
the buttons below the nipples. That's low. Like it's like 4 or 5.
He's like
buttons
relying a lot on like his suit jacket to keep his chest in place, keeping that V not as deep and wide as he wants it
So
to
you
be.
think if he took the suit jacket off, his chest would just fall off his body?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's like there's definitely, I don't know. I think he's using that. He's using his jacket to keep that look in line. Without the jacket, that look does not. That
Really brings it all together.
I don't really have a lot to say about this dude, so don't look at me.
It's a giant DV. That's really all I got. I mean, I will say like he is dressed nice. It like looks good. It's a just head to toe. He's like wearing black shirt, black pants, suit jacket, looking good.
Got some good moves.
I think if he went one more button up, I could be okay with the look.
Yeah.
But it's one button too far. It's beyond the button line. It's below the nips.
He
is
missed
deep.
the mark.
He's
It's
missed.
probably here's the thing though. I think it was the strongest look of these 4
Yeah. Oh,
very
yeah.
poor looks.
He
No
came
doubt.
out with
we
a
saw.
bunch of confidence, and all the girls like, I like your swagger. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. Like this dude is very much more suave. Like coming out, he doesn't do some dumbass dance or whatever and look like an idiot. He's like, I'm gonna look cool as shit. All right, everyone's still in. Let's do this game.
And then video 2 starts playing.
Well,
Uh-oh.
we attributed video 1 to the other gentleman, but when the mom comes out and they live right next door, there's definitely half those people are gone. You're
Dunzo.
down to like, what was it, like 5,
Something like that.
10 people maybe?
No, yeah, I think it was like 10.
10. And then the second video starts, Max.
And he's in a roller rink and he's roller skating. And he's like, if we're going to go on a date, you got to bring your own wheels. And then it's like him and 2 of his friends. They got some moves where they're like synchronized roller skating. And
They do like a specific dance. They have like a choreographed dance that they've worked out.
he says it's like a thing you do at a frat. I'm not sure that's true.
No, I don't think that's true at all.
I didn't never see any people doing that. in
And
college. I
then
don't
it's
know.
down to 3 people.
Yeah, very quickly there.
Yeah.
And then they do like a question thing or something, right?
No. He has to go and drop somebody out.
Right.
Because
the
there
girl
can only be
walks
narrow
two
it
at
down
the
to
end.
two.
Yeah, but doesn't George talks to the girls first.
Yeah.
And like asks that one girl like why she's still in, and she's like, "Oh, like I like that his rollerblading, but I'm like not very coordinated. I'm really clumsy." And she keeps going off about it, and you're like, "Who's he gonna eliminate?"
She also is unable to tell if these are roller skates or rollerblades, which is
Yeah.
a completely
She's like-
reasonable thing.
The roller and like making like a hand
The-
just like
the
you
roller
know like
things?
I want to say blades, but I know they're not blades.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to sound dumb, but I'm looking real dumb right now.
She's also by far the tallest person on that
She's
stage.
very tall.
Like she's the tallest. I don't know how tall she is, but she's
Way
pretty
taller than
tall.
George Lopez.
Imagine how tall she'd be with roller skates on.
Oh, yes.
What if she had roller skates on behind that podium?
Oh, she should have rolled out there. She would
No,
have
she's too
sealed
clumsy,
the deal.
self-admitted.
The prestige.
But girl 3 though, girl 3 was the most interesting because we don't know anything about her.
Until
I can't believe.
until the very end.
Well, right. So yeah,
Yeah.
spoiler. He doesn't boot girl 3 off. Who doesn't before they make him decide which one to pick out until like final it down to 2. There's just no airtime of girl 3. We're like, who is it? I'm like, okay, well, I guess she must be sticking around.
She has not said a word.
Not said anything. Nothing.
So
Clumsy
what
girl's
what
gone.
was the question that he asked?
Oh, his
Oh.
question was crazy. It was like, I know why I'm here and I know my history, but what's your history and why are you here?
It was nuts.
Like, do you have like 10 minutes? Like, like how deep are we? It's like the deepest question, but you have like literally one sentence to answer that. And it's like,
And it has to be an innuendo.
Oh,
Yeah.
What did the girl? I can't remember what the girl
the
said.
girls
It was like,
didn't really say anything.
Well, the one girl was basically like, well, I'm still looking for a guy who can keep up with me and who can get down and dirty. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, man.
Oh, I
It
did
was like
write
a
down.
week.
I
She
did
was-
have write down and dirty in my notes.
Down
She
and
was
dirty.
thirsty.
well, George Lopez started referring to that girl as down and dirty.
Down and dirty.
Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Miss Independent or down and dirty? And you're like, what are you talking about, George Lopez?
She's the one who said it.
And he ends up picking the not down and
Independent.
dirty.
Miss Independent.
Miss
Miss
Independent.
Independent.
And they're going to go to the ranch.
I will let you guys know how that goes.
The Take Me Out ranch / resort.
Oh yeah.
I will say that one of my favorite parts about this show is that instant gratification of, you know, if you watch this week, then next week you're going to get to see the results of that date. I feel like a lot of these kinds of shows,
Yeah.
like, you don't really get to see kind of the effect of what happened ever, or maybe like a whole season later or something. Like, you know, Shark Tank, like maybe like 3 years later they talk about it. But like that instant gratification is really nice.
I mean, Shark Tank takes years for that stuff to.
No doubt.
Was Shark Tank season 2?
We've never done Shark Tank on
We
the pod.
still haven't done it. That's insanity.
Say it. Suggest it next week.
We have.
Shane.
I can't believe we haven't done Shark Tank.
Maybe we do a special pod.
We've
Special number pod, maybe.
We must have referenced
We'll
Shark
save
Tank way
it for
too many
150.
times. Oh shit, that's too far out.
Another 47 more podcasts. Season 4. Looking forward to it.
So this like, in terms of how the show's produced, do they film all 8 episodes with George Lopez at once, and then George just says, "And we're cutting back to the
100%.
date," and then there's nothing filmed for like 6 weeks after that?
100%.
Or- okay.
No. This is how the show is filmed, okay?
Yeah.
So they fly all these people out. They fly the 30 girls out. They fly like 30 guys out. And then they film this section of the show for like, I don't know, a couple days, maybe a week. And then they film
I think
dates.
it took a week to film 8 episodes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how
2
long.
days max.
Two,
I'm putting-
2, 3 days, whatever it is. You never know how long these things take. There could be a lot of time for the writers to come with great puns for, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah, all those great puns.
puns.
Yeah, I mean, these writers probably are very strong. Who knows how long it takes them to come
It
up
took
with
the
these-
girls at least like a day to learn that dance, though.
Oh yeah.
All the dances.
And-
So like,
And
the
then they
hearts,
just
yep.
go on the date for the next like 2 or 3 days and then fly everyone home. It's like a week-long thing.
the weirdest thing about the puns is that George Lopez is a stand-up comic, and like it does not seem like he's writing his own jokes. And if he is writing his own jokes, very tough look for George Lopez. It's not great.
I feel like he's in that writing room for sure. He's helping write these puns.
I don't know. I think that he's coming in on that 6 a.m. flight. They're shooting him out in a day, and he's out. Like it's.
He's flying in. Where does he live?
I don't know.
He's
He's
gotta
he's,
live in
he's,
LA,
He's getting,
man. I
feel
he's
like
getting
he's-
driven in.
He's in an LA suburb, and they're sending him an Uber in the morning. Be like, "You come to the studio. We'll bang this thing out. Here's $100K."
Yeah, for sure.
Can I tell you guys 2 recent highlights of George Lopez's career?
Yes.
In 2017, he was in a Canadian animated film called Gnome Alone.
Ooh.
What?
Does it follow the plot of Home Alone?
I don't know. It seems weird.
we have to watch
it
this next time we're in
and
Canada.
oh wait, do we got a pod this show?
Oh, live pod from Canada.
In 2016,
Not watching No Malone.
No, Malone.
You're gonna watch it, Chris. It's gonna be fine.
What if you did Home Alone for
in
the pod?
2016, George Lopez played the character of President El Obama in a movie called Meet the Blacks.
Okay.
abort.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
All right, moving
so,
on.
So if we're talking about George Lopez as a host of the show, I don't think he does a terrible job. I think he's okay.
I mean, the puns are terrible.
I like
Everything
them.
else is fine.
I kind of like the puns because they are bad, and I think he does a good job delivering the puns. I think.
He does what he can.
His role is so limited though, which is weird because then at the end he sort of like at the beginning and the end he cues himself up as this matchmaker. He's like, I did 2 couples today. Like I paired them up. Like I did it.
I mean, he provides the energy.
I mean, I did 2 couples today. Kind of sounds like something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't exactly say that.
Yeah, like he's not critical to like the show like happening, but it's like he's giving you the filler between the shots. Like he's the color.
Well,
like,
he's
between
the
it.
teeing the things up.
Right. He's like you need something to like stoke it a bit to like get the weird questions to happen and the weird answers that get responded.
I mean, I agree with Rob that Conan O'Brien would be an amazing host for this show.
Yeah, who do we think is like the ideal host for this thing?
I can't not think Conan now. Rob ruined it.
Well, I only said Conan because George Lopez had the TBS
Yeah.
talk show, and then they Conan him both the TBS talk show. Then they got rid of George Lopez, and we'll just have Conan do the talk show.
Incredible.
Who would be the ideal host for this show?
I think that you tag Steve Harvey in, and you're looking pretty good here.
Steve Harvey would crush this.
I don't think Steve Harvey could be like the sole host. I think a dual host like the Chinese version would work much better.
Well, if we had a podcast in the show, that would definitely be a lot better. But if it had to be one host,
I
Guy
don't know.
Fieri.
No.
what?
No.
Guy Fieri.
Oh my god.
Definitely not.
Oh.
What about this is another double host, but the 2 ladies from British Bake Off. Like those 2
Ooh.
comedians.
I don't know, we
and they
didn't-
could run down both sides and like talk to all the women.
We didn't like them very much when we would
You
do
didn't
British
like
Bake
them?
Off. No, listen to the pod.
Disagree.
I mean, we could always pick our favorite reality show host as the best host for this.
No, Tej.
No, not Tej.
Not
There's-
Tej?
Who's the one guy above Tej in our
Is
our-
it Mike Pereira, whoever the guy is?
It's Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually don't think The Rock would be good in this.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
He would be too like professional and all that jazz. No.
He's too good for this show.
He's too good for this.
I guess.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
mean
forward
that.
to that Titan Challenge show though.
We are going to do Titan Towns.
We
Don't
got
worry.
Oh, it's gonna
The
happen
countdown is on.
this January.
Some sort of live pod. It's probably gonna happen. I'm guessing.
We gotta.
If The Rock is doing a new reality show, you know who put this on is there.
I think we have enough people. I've been starting to get a polling. We can do a live audience for that one.
Who put the Rock on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Coming soon.
Our other podcasts, other than who put MTV on. Any other minutia you guys want to talk about, or
Like one thing that we really loved from the original If You Are the One that this show is sorely lacking is the contested emails.
oh yeah,
the emails for sure, and
So-
the room videos of the girls.
Yeah.
Let's get to room videos.
Yeah.
But first,
The email.
so in the If You're the One, at the end of the show, they just show emails for the guys that are like the guy at thenetwork.com. And like, why is there not just each of these guys on the show? There's like this guy at fox.com, and you can just email these guys.
Yeah, if you're super into Mikey and his Guido thing, just email
There's
him.
definitely ladies out there that want the Guido.
that was a big part of the pod when we were talking about it. Like, there's no incentive for the gentleman to come on this podcast. Like
On this
comparatively
podcast?
to the podcast
There's lots of
Damn it.
incentives to come on our podcast. Please come on our podcast.
show. Other than, like, the women get to stay on and eventually might become some sort of social media influencer, whereas like the gentlemen just get to like be like, "Hey, I'm single. Come, meet me." It
Well,
makes so
the
much
incentive-
sense to have the email.
for the dude, like they, get to go on a date with one of these,
One of these people that may or
At
may
the
not
ranch.
live within
At the-
3,000 miles of you.
But
Oh,
you
yeah.
also have to be publicly embarrassed and rejected by 20 plus girls on national TV. That's the other part of that.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
it's just
You
like-
have to whittle it down to 28. Well, I guess you don't have to get rejected, right?
Yeah, that first guy knocked out so many girls.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to get rejected. You're gonna get rejected by somebody. At least half the panel's gonna reject.
Has
you.
there ever been a clean sweep and then the dude just has to go there and knock out 28 people?
No,
I
Never
cannot
happened.
imagine that's happened.
not happening. You got to get that.
Not in
FaceTime.
all 28 seasons of If You Are the One or whatever.
I mean, that's the only hope, right?
Mm.
The 8 episode of American One. Clearly not.
No.
I mean, there's a version of this show in almost every country. So like maybe like the first season in Denmark or something. Like
So
something crazy happens.
what do we think it is about this format that makes it kind of so applicable to every culture? Like everyone feels like this is going to work. in their market. Like,
I feel like it's just easy to pull off. Is realistically the only reason I think it's.
Well,
People love
follow-up
judging.
question. So if there are so many shows like this, is it ever like different genders? Like, do we have men as a panel?
Yes.
Is there one where it's like a man and all men as the panel? Like, do we have like any kind of different mix?
I don't know if there's I don't know the Naked Attraction level. Like Naked Attraction definitely did that where they swap the panel.
I know for sure China has a dedicated separate show where the male and female roles reverse, and I think this show, like maybe it swaps every episode or something. I could be wrong. I feel like I've heard about it.
I don't know.
But at the same token, so hey, we're saying like this show is easy to pull off. It works in like all these different cultures and places around the world. Show only made it 8 episodes, so like what the hell went wrong here? Like what's
Fox?
bad about it? Fox? It got foxed?
Definitely Fox.
Like you thinking Fox made the wrong call or like that they like screwed the show up?
I mean, I never heard of this show when it was on, and I definitely would have watched this show if I'd known about it.
I feel like I want to say I even saw an ad for it or something like years ago, obviously. But it was like hosted by George Lopez. I'm like, oh, George Lopez is hosting some
I mean
show.
the
Like, I don't think so.
the cachet of George Lopez at the time, as we were talking about, not the greatest. So I don't know.
Like, is he the issue with why the show's canceled?
I don't know what was wrong with You, the Jury.
yeah, I mean, Fox. I mean, you got You, the Jury, Steve Harvey's Thunderdome. Like, there's
Steve Harvey's Thunderdome is not on Fox.
James.
no, it was. Oh, it's CBS.
ABC.
Oh, because he's an ABC
what was,
guy.
What
He's
was
very ABC.
the reality show that you really love? That's some sort of Topia
Utopia?
was also on Fox and also did not last very long.
Yeah, but Utopia was pretty good.
Everybody drink.
The Utopia plug.
Like,
Pilot episode, man.
yeah. Well, how long ago was that now?
Too long.
Years. 4 years. 4 or more.
More than 4.
4+ years.
So that show didn't last like 8 episodes, and the investment into Utopia was way higher than the investment in this
Utopia
show.
was a good show.
Very, very, very questionable.
And
Definitely
You had that
not.
24-hour-a-day live Utopia cam that you could watch on the internet.
All right, James, tell me about these bedroom videos.
Oh, I mean, I don't remember anything specific, but like the concept, right? So like after a video 2 of the dude, it's like, okay, we've narrowed it down to like 3 or 4 girls or whatever.
Well, it's when it's narrowed down to 2 girls, the gentleman gets to pick one of them. But before he gets to pick, he gets to see a video
right.
of
In the Chinese version, not
in the
this
Chinese
Yeah.
version, a video of the woman, and I guess you get to pick
Max,
some sort of topic.
This is
Alright.
you. You need to take this.
All
home.
right.
We only saw a bedroom, so like I don't know if you get to pick a topic or something.
All right. Chinese version of the show, it's narrowed down to 2 women. Grandpa Meng, the presenter, presents the guy with a iPad with 8 dialogue choices of things you can ask the woman or like watch a video that they've prepared. My favorite one is the women's room because it's always fucking insane. One woman is like, every single thing in a room needs to be pink. There's another one where like everything's leopard print. It's just absolutely wild.
And by everything is pink.
Everything is pink.
Is pink.
Everything.
Literally everything. Oh man.
I sort of think losing that is sort of why I think this show is not that strong, is because like you don't really get any stories about people, and
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
even when like a couple gets matched off, there's not a big payoff. Like you need sort of like an Olympic kind of story, like about the background of these women, or like why
Yeah.
are they searching for love, or like who is anyone on this show, and there's like no payoff, there are no stories. It's just kind of like a very like sort of like game
Oh,
show,
yeah.
like
I gotta get you in on this other show.
okay.
Well, like, I think you're totally right, which is like we watched the show for like 40+ minutes or whatever, and I feel like I still don't know anything about any of these girls that were on the show.
Yeah.
Like, very limited. Like, all you get is maybe 1, 2 like pre-canned things that they already thought they were gonna say.
I mean, as
That's
to
it.
Harrison's point, though, you do get to find out about the dates immediately the following episode, whereas like other things, they're like, oh, we're gonna go on a date, and you kind of don't get any like real. Well, Naked Attraction, you found out the date in the same episode, so like, and it could even be better.
It could
I
be
like
better.
finding out about the date, but like you're not even like I think it's still even hard to root for them. because like you still don't know who they are, so you're kind of just like, how'd this date go of these two people who've never
This
spoken?
is a
Like, what is
very-
this?
This is a very surface level show.
Yeah.
There's no deepness to the show.
Yeah,
There's no.
but that's why I think it's not. I think that's why it's
All right,
not super strong.
Let's get the ratings then. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's James, let's have you start here.
Man, you're always throwing me under the bus to start things out.
All right,
recently.
all right. I'll start.
Okay.
All right, Max. You
Middle third, top of the middle. It's not amazing. I am going to watch at least one more episode.
All right. James, you want to go now?
I'm ready now.
Okay.
I'm very tempted to put this in the top. However, I'm not. It's going to be in the middle.
What?
The thing is, it was really actually, I really enjoyed watching this. It was really fun to watch with a group of friends.
Yeah.
I would recommend it for that. However, George Lopez is not very good. And there's enough awkward stuff. But like again, that still kind of makes it fun to like watch with people. I don't know though. Like I couldn't see watching maybe more than like another one. Like it was like I kind of want. I'm with Max. Kind of want to watch like one more. And I don't know that it goes much beyond that.
But James,
I just think like man, the I don't know. George Lopez just doesn't do it for me this show, and I think like a lot of that just knocks it out of the bottom.
James, we gotta break the streak.
What's the streak?
We haven't had a top.
Oh
30.
yeah, I know. But on the James rating, I'll give it a 4. So
Okay.
it's in the top of the middle.
All right.
We're keeping the score. We got to be accurate.
All right, Rob. Give us your rating here.
So this show, like, I gave the original If You Are the One a top third. And there's definitely some things with the show that are not as good as If You Are the One. But the streak is over. I gotta put it in the top.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just so enjoy this so much. It's so stupid. I love it. Top third.
I'm really glad for you. I was thinking about top third, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't as good as If You Are the One.
I think that's actually what
it's-
kept it out for me too, though. Is because like I actually want to go back and change my vote for the other show, bring that one up to a top,
No,
Whoa.
this one
James,
down.
one of the reasons why you didn't put that on the top is because you had to read. You
Yeah,
had to read the subtitles.
It was
are,
not in
we, are we
English.
over the subtitle thing, James?
a little bit.
Okay.
At the time, there was definitely a very big detriment.
I mean,
Definitely was.
there's a historical record, and it is what it is. Like, that's the thing. Like,
If it's in subtitles, it's gonna hurt your James rating. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not saying this is better than the other If You Are the One, but the top third has a third of the shows in it, and
yeah,
so
that is not the case at all this season.
It's been like 2+ months and we've had a top third vote.
it's
Well
been
done.
almost 3 months, I think.
All right, Harrison, what do you got?
Oh man. I think I might have to agree with Rob on this one.
Oh, man!
Super fun show
It's-
to watch with friends. I wish that I had my own buzzer in here so that I could buzz along with the people.
Some sort of audience buzzer live. Oh, that would
be
be the next level.
Great if they could have some kind of live buzzing.
Oh,
Some kind
yeah.
of you, the jury, for buzzer.
That'd be very good. There aren't a lot of episodes out there, but I could see watching a few more with some people for sure. Top third.
All right, ABC, what you got?
I think I want to say like middle of the middle because like
Okay.
I think it was like really enjoyable, but I don't know if I need to watch more. But it was like very delightful. I just don't think there was like I don't think there was anything in it that was like super charming or like super unique or interesting. So like I don't think it's a top third.
Sort of.
I hear that.
Yeah, I mean when you're saying we're stack ranking these, so you don't have to actually watch any more of these when you put it in the top third.
No, I know, but I
It's
think, but I
implied.
think, I
It's
think if it,
implied.
It's
if
not
it is in the
implied.
top- no, but I think if it is in the top third, like I would want to watch more. And like this one, like I think maybe another, but like I'm not like I
know.
don't need to see this season. I don't need to see 8
yeah.
episodes.
Okay, okay.
APC hasn't seen the same level of crap we've seen, so her top third might be more
true. It's
exclusive
true.
than
It's
my
just
top
like
third.
we've done over 100 reality shows, and like there's no way I've watched more than 33. Like I've watched like maybe 5 to 7 more than we've watched like
On the show.
on the show. So like there's no way. I'm just trying to dispel this myth because you don't do it, James. You don't do it, Harrison. If that's how you want to like categorize your top third's
reality
not a
is-
stack
here's the
ranking at all.
reality, though.
Chris, what's your rating?
No, the reality is, I'm gonna finish this. Is it's got to be a James rating of 2 or higher for me to actually watch it. If you're
Okay.
still top, but at a 3, I'm not watching it.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that one, James. So, you know, I'm on the borderline here. I think it's middle third. I think it's entertaining to watch, and I didn't have to read, so it doesn't need my full attention. Oddly enough, I felt like it was moving really quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was just like because we didn't get the commercials, so like maybe with commercials it would slow down a bit, and like it'd be more, maybe even more into it. But like again, it's still something that I never want to give my full attention to, really. Maybe if I was more, you know, inebriated, I'd like it more. You know, little that a little goes a long way on that front, I think, for a show like this. So we're gonna stick in the middle. Stack ranking this season's not going great, but like, yeah, it is what it is.
I will agree with you that I really like the pacing of this show. I mean, it is very possible from like what we've seen that you get like 2 people on this on an episode that's is this length instead of 4, and I feel like getting 4 through like felt pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I think that I like this in like a 20-minute kind of increment. Like a 40-minute increment feels a little too long.
Actually, something nice about the show is like you can just watch one person and feel like you saw the whole episode.
You could totally just walk away. Like as soon as you see that end of that closure of that round,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I can like go do whatever.
Like really, you just want like a big YouTube playlist of all the individual segments just
Yeah,
chopped
yeah,
up, and you can
yeah,
just
yeah,
dip
yeah.
in and out.
That's probably one of the reasons why the show doesn't do that great, because they're like, oh, I saw that in that segment commercial. All right, well, and then you don't have to ever come back.
And like, I just don't think that they're spending enough time with the women on the show to kind of develop that episode over episode like relationship. I think they could definitely work on that a little bit.
I don't know if that like when we watched the Chinese one, it was pretty deep in that run. Like, who knows how this thing started?
That's
I feel
true.
Fox never gives any shows a chance, so it's just like, oh, your numbers were bad. Episode 1, all right, well, you're out. And like, oh, maybe we'll couple more episodes, but you don't get a chance to like establish or like fix anything. Which clearly you're like get some studio notes after your first couple episodes. You're like, oh, maybe if we give more characters on the show, it would work out better. But you don't
I
get
think
any
they
time
could
to do
make the
that.
show work. You're totally right. It's just like it's over before it kind of gets going a little bit, and like they have time to kind of polish it up.
Yeah. And the only through line is like based on how many dates they paired off in the last episode. So like the next one, it's like you only have 2. Like this one, I feel like how many dates did we see the
3.
recap? Yeah. So like if there's an episode where like no one goes on a date, like there's no like incentive for the next episode.
Well, I mean, kind of the Chris point of how they film it though, like maybe it's always chopped up so it's kind of somewhat balanced because like they're just filming like
true.
round after round. Well, I guess
Oh,
like
yeah.
at some point though, like the ordering might matter if like somebody's gone.
Yeah, if they
That'd be
replace
interesting.
someone.
Right? I don't know. It's a whole
I mean,
we don't
theory.
really know enough about anyone, and I don't know
Yeah.
if they really care.
I mean, this thing is super similar in concept to that Jesse Palmer The Proposal show. Like it's in the same ballpark, and I think that this is a lot better than that.
It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
That show's terrible.
It was awful. No, I know, but like it's interesting because it's so close in concept, but this one just plays so much better.
Yeah, so much better.
How many episodes does that one get?
10.
Oh man.
Oh, that's on ABC though, and it was linked to The Bachelor. We talked about it. I really didn't want it to go more than like another episode, but like there really was no chance that wasn't making its full run. The ratings on the show was actually really good. It was like
Is
it
it
was
coming
like
back?
it was like after The Bachelor,
I'm looking it up right now.
and they like only lost like half the viewership for The Proposal, which was insane.
I mean, Bachelor Nation's pretty strong, as we know.
Crazy people.
Harrison, when are you getting back into Bachelor Nation?
Oh, I don't know. When's Chris Harrison going to stop using sexual assault to promote the seasons of that show?
I mean, never.
Yeah, then probably never.
Oh man, if you want a trip, you should listen to our Bib episode, Bachelor in Paradise.
We've done 4 different Bachelor-related podcasts.
Oh no. Jesus.
There's a whole Bachelor backlog to go through it.
Who put the Bachelor on?
It's a mini series.
There aren't that many like different Bachelor shows though.
Do you think Bachelor Winter Games is coming back this winter?
No,
Oh,
No,
God, I
it's
hope
not the Winter Games.
they don't need counter programming for the Olympics this year because there is no Olympics.
We'll see.
They got to do the summer games though.
Yeah.
Bachelor Summer Games.
Yeah, Bachelor in Paradise. That's the summer games.
Is it time for the challenge update?
It's definitely not.
Oh no, James hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I also didn't watch this week.
Oh no.
Nor have I, actually.
Oh no.
What the hell is wrong with you, Max?
Max loves the spoilers.
Max like
No. It's a good season.
Well,
You
we
should watch
haven't
it.
We've been discussing.
we haven't talked about the challenge in any real depth in like
We definitely
a
did.
month. When?
Like a couple episodes ago.
No, okay. The challenge, it's good. You should watch it.
We're gonna do some kind of a wrap up in one of these post shows after the season's over. We'll talk some more about it when people have actually watched the episodes. So yeah.
Well, some people had some sort of party yesterday.
Hey,
so we
It's
didn't.
not my fault. There was a party till 11.
I mean,
Had to
it's
go to,
the
you
Indian
know.
Festival of Lights. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Hey, if you were a true fan, you'd be popping that thing on midnight.
I've been keeping up with Survivor.
How's
Oh,
Survivor
yeah.
going?
Survivor's going good.
Alright.
I like Survivor just as much as I like the challenge at this point. I think
Is it exceeding the challenge for you?
there's definitely a level where it can. We'll see how this season ends up because I really dislike some of the things MTV does with the challenge that like really piss me off. And Survivor doesn't do zero of that, so which is nice
So far.
so far. I mean, every episode there's 2 challenges, 1 challenge to get something and 1 challenge to kick somebody off, and there's a vote every week. There's none of this bullshit half a challenge thing.
You love that.
Like no one
It's
wants
too
that.
predictable, Chris.
Have
And
they
no
love
brought
one
that
in,
wants
consistency.
one challenge that takes 40 minutes that's just really boring.
have they brought in the Survivor Redemption House yet?
No.
No.
No
Okay.
one wants the Redemption House.
But Chris-
Harrison wants Redemption House.
Chris, I have a question for you. Is there club night on Survivor?
No, I mean, there's definitely differences between the two. And I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying production wise, I like the production of Survivor consistency more than fuck all, whatever the challenge does. They're
Anything
like-
could happen.
It's just
It
like,
could be a whole episode of Redemption House. It could be anything.
They're,
Yeah.
they're really shooting from the hip with the challenge.
they definitely
Some
are.
kind of
Which
mercenary.
sometimes they enjoy
Never
it,
know.
and sometimes it's just, why did you do that?
I think that like the flexibility that they've given themselves in the challenge allows them to manipulate it in such a way to make it maximum entertaining.
I mean, I feel like if you watch every season of Survivor, it would get very predictable and kind of boring because it's so predictable. Which the challenge has been on, not quite as long, but like they're close in season numbers. So like having it not as predictable is good for people that have seen every season. But like, I'm sure if you watch season 2 of the challenge versus season 31 of the challenge, if they were still consistent, it would still be very different.
Right.
So
The rules change on a whim. So.
but like you watch Survivor season 1 to this season, there's differences, but not as many as I'd think there would be. Like the people on the show are definitely more into the meta of the challenge or the Survivor than season 1. Like no one any idea what was going on.
So like they've spent their seasons refining the concept as opposed to just piling more mechanics onto it.
Essentially, the way they get people to watch, I guess, is have some sort of weird gimmick. But then this season's gimmick is really lame and doesn't make any sense.
David versus Goliath.
Didn't they split into 3 teams now?
They're in 3 teams now.
That's so weird. David versus Goliath versus John.
Yeah, what's the third team?
Well, they merged
Rock.
the 2 teams into 3, so they're not David and Goliath anymore. There's just Davids and Goliaths on the same teams. So there's actually a lot of
I
drama.
feel like I was lied to.
So you're saying this is more of a Batman v Superman situation where they secretly okay.
There's actually interesting. I think it's a great thing they did because it was just going to be when they merge eventually, when there's enough people, you'll just have clearly one group versus the other. Whereas like this way, they're kind of weeding each other out, and like there's a lot more interesting drama
Okay.
between just like 3 versus 2 versus like 5 versus 3, and then those 3 people are just going to get kicked out of it immediately because they don't know each other. So like you just couldn't have those 2 tribes because I don't know what they normally do. I don't know if they normally do this or not. So I like that they did it. The drama is definitely interesting. My high level, low level take on Survivor at the moment.
Nice.
All right.
Nothing.
I finished season 1 of Documental.
Oh, man.
Is it worth watching more of?
Yes.
Oh.
I've had it on my Amazon Watch thing, and it's just like I haven't gotten around to it.
So
Rob,
I went
what
back.
is Documental?
You watched Documental.
I definitely did not.
You definitely gave it a bottom third.
Oh, okay.
It
Then
is the
never mind.
Japanese thing where a bunch of comedians are in a room and they gotta make each other
Oh,
laugh.
that horrible show?
Yep.
You watched the whole season of that?
All 4 episodes.
What in the hell is wrong with you, Rob?
Do you know there's a season 2?
I do know season 2. I've not started season 2. I just finished season. It took
I-
me like 6 months to watch 4 episodes.
Because okay, go on. Like, why did it take so long? Was it bad?
I just,
Why,
I had
why
other
did you
things
keep
going.
watching this? I'm so confused.
I was intrigued, but not intrigued enough to be like, I got to do it right now. Like, I definitely finished all of Churchill's Secret Agents before I bothered to go back to Documental.
Okay, so you just burned through your backlog. You're like, well, I guess I'll watch this.
Yeah, but like, I went back and watched episode 1, which we'd skipped.
Sure.
And episode 1 was interesting because like, a lot of it was introducing the comedians and then like them talking about how they got their million yen. And it's actually really funny because like some are like, yeah, I actually went to a bank and had to get a bank loan, explain like why I'm getting a million yen. And the guy's like, yeah, my wife makes lots of money, so I just asked her, and she's like, why do you need this money again? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It was like super fun to watch episode 1. Like, I think it's good we didn't watch it for the pod
Sure.
because we would have had no concept of the actual show. But it was fun to go back and watch episode 1. Then episode 3 it just became like everyone's just taking their pants off, and that's how they're trying to make people laugh. It really becomes Chris's question of would this show be better if everyone was naked? Like that's basically what happens. And then it like at some point it gets down to 4, and then it feels like the stakes ramp up, and it's like super intense. About like the final 4 is really good. I don't want to get too much into the end game because
I
don't
definitely want to
spoil,
watch it. So
but like I feel like once it gets to final 4, it just feels like it goes to another level.
all right,
I would definitely marathon season 1 with
I
you.
definitely want to watch that. So
Yeah. So I put in the top third, a surprising top third, because like halfway through that show I was like, I do not understand this show, and then it ended, and I
mean-
was like, this show's kind of great.
the next time on,
The
really,
next time on.
really makes me want to watch the next several episodes.
Yeah,
No,
for
I
sure.
totally forgot about it. I see it occasionally in my Amazon queue. I'm like, oh yeah, that show, and I never get around to it. But I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah, there you go. Still recommended.
Anybody else?
Well, Annabeth and I watched the first couple of episodes of the new season of Are You the One? Not If You Are the One, but
Ooh.
How
Are
is
You
it?
the One?
It's very
Um,
confusing.
It is very confusing having those shows like that.
Yes.
Pretty good so far. A lot of drama, a lot of insane people. It seems like people were picked for the season exclusively based on how interesting their name is. Like everyone has an insane name on the show, which is great.
Give me those nicknames.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You gotta watch the next episode and write down the nicknames.
Yeah, we should. There's one guy who's addicted to drama,
There's literally obsessed.
literally obsessed. Yeah, there's some good ones.
There's a playette, which is good.
The-
A
the
word
nick-
I've never
The
seen.
nickname is Playette.
Playette.
What does that mean?
She's a player.
But she's a woman.
So lady
that's
player.
good.
A lady player.
Oh, okay.
A playette.
Lady player doesn't
I
sound
thought that
right
was
like what
a
you-
Playette
diva.
doesn't sound good though.
Beyonce said that was a diva.
I like diva better than playette.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I like Playette. I got it immediately and I thought it was funny. I like it.
Who's the E money of this season?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lewis. There is a comedian guy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, great scene with Lewis. There's this one girl who wants to get revenge on some guy, and she's like looking for a man to hook up with, and she just grabs him and like pulls him in the boom boom room, and you see him look at the camera with this expression of delight. he's like, oh yeah, and you see him close the door.
That's pretty
And then
good.
and
So
then
there isn't any money.
and then you just hear this guy from inside the room say, "Oh, girl, you nasty." I was like, oh man. They've made some weird game mechanic changes. They don't have the actual challenges in the show to determine who's going to go on the date anymore. They just kind of spin this sort of random wheel of dates
This is terrible news. This is terrible news because I think what I really like about Are You the One is like it's a great balance of like a competition show and then there's this like this weird strategy element and it's also a love show. Like it's like
It's all over
amazing
the place.
combo, but now they've gotten rid of this like competition element, which is kind of weird because now like it's like the producers have so much control over who goes on the dates. So like it's a little more on the rails, which is disappointing. So like most of the show is now like in the house, just like house drama, and they never get to go out of that and like have to like do something else to talk about, which is disappointing to me because I think the balance is
missing
what
out,
made
yeah.
that show really good.
This season's done, right? Or is it still going?
It's at least 12 episodes deep, but we've just started it.
Okay.
Is Tej still there?
Yes, the other TJ is still hosting.
How's he doing?
You know, he's fine. He's serviceable.
I mean, now without the challenges, his role is even less.
Yeah,
He's barely there.
Come
is-
come and put your hands
yeah.
on the
No,
thing.
his entire
Do
role
they
is
still have the iPad?
yeah, his entire role is to put his hands on those iPads and wait for those lights to come on. It's great.
Has he berated them? They're not doing good enough yet, or not yet?
We only saw one light ceremony, so
Oh, so not yet.
yeah.
But he always reminds them about their flaws in dating and how they
Yeah.
have to trust the system. And their new mechanic
Trust
is
the process.
the process. Their new mechanic
Whoa,
is
Dr. Pepper trademarked that. You can't use that.
I thought the
Dr.
Philadelphia
P.
76ers trademarked that.
Maybe. You can't trust the process if Dr. Pepper's not there.
I mean, Married by Mom and Dad was also big on trusting the process.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would not trust that process.
No?
No.
The Bachelor is about the process.
A lot of things got to trust the process. It's just, it's a good rule to live by.
Are You the One? Definitely don't trust that process. Do
What about
not.
if you are the one? Do
If
trust
you are
that
the
process?
one, I trust more than Are You the One?
What?
At least the people get to talk to each other, and Are You the One?
Well, I just mean like if you at the end of Are You the One and you're like matched up with some woman that you barely talked to the whole barely weren't with the whole season, you're like, am I supposed to be with her now? Like that would be trusting the process to be with her because that's the one that they thought you should be with. Like
But at least it's based on something. Like someone knew something about you
Yeah.
and her, whereas like this show we just watched based on nothing. Who are the women?
I agree
Who
with
are
that.
the most beautiful faces in America?
The
Who are
30
they?
most beautiful women in America.
No, in the world.
In the world.
in the world.
George Lopez is not holding back.
all right, guys. You can find us on Facebook.com/whoputthison. You can find us on Twitter @whoputthison. Please email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And please rate us on iTunes. Really helps. And we'll see you guys next time.